Hi everyone and welcome to today's talk on body composition. My name's Louise Pettifor and I'm a female fat loss coach helping women with hormonal fat loss. So what is body composition? Simply put, it's the sum of what our bodies are made up of. Predominantly our fat mass, our muscle mass and bone. So how is it going to help you to know about body composition? Well, there are certain methods that we're all using that are not giving us a clear picture. For example, BMI, the use of skin calipers to take body fat percentage, and also the use of scales. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, and I'm going to focus on the scales because this is the most common method that us women are using to measure our weight and monitor progress. Now, the problem with the scales is that when we step on the scales, it's just giving us a measurement of how much our body weighs as a whole. So when we are trying to lose some weight, or maybe you're trying to put on weight, the scales don't show us what weight is being put on from fat or lost from fat. It's us that assumes that when that dial moves, it's because we've either put on fat or lost fat. Now, the problem with low-calorie diets is that you might go on the scales and you might see a loss of 5 pounds, for example, in a week or your first 2 weeks. And in actual fact, that weight will not be purely from fat. Yes, you may have lost some fat, but you will have also lost some of your muscle mass. And this is the problem with using the scales. Equally, on the other side, if you've put on weight, let's just say you've started a fitness program and 4 weeks later you go back to the scales and you weigh yourself and you see that there's no change on the scales, or you might have put on a pound, for example. How do you know that weight that you've put on wasn't from muscle? Okay, so we assume that any weight that's put on is from fat, when in actual fact it can be from muscle. So you should also know some interesting facts about fat versus muscle. So if you had the same amount of fat in one hand and the same amount of muscle in the other hand, the muscle is actually going to weigh more. So you could be losing fat and replacing some of that weight with the muscle that you are gaining. Also, fat takes up more space than muscle, okay? So muscle is going to take up less space in the body. So even though it's replacing some of that weight that might be lost through fat, it's actually taking up less space. And also, what does fat look like underneath the skin? It looks dimply and lumpy, and it can look not very nice no matter where it is. I mean, we all struggle with cellulite, for example, but you get the same appearance on the backs of the arms as well. Now, muscle underneath the skin, it's smooth in its texture and it just looks better. So how can we effectively monitor our progress? Well, with my clients, on day one, I get them to take circumference measurements. So we start from the neck, working the way down the body at various landmarks. We also record what the weight is on the scales as well, and we use this information when we come to do the reassessment. So for example, when we come to do our reassessment, we use the waist circumference measurement. So if we have maybe seen an increase in weight, but we've seen that the waist circumference has stayed the same, that's a clear indicator that that person may have put on some muscle mass because the waist circumference has stayed the same. If we see that the waist circumference has stayed the same and so has the weight on the scales, then it's highly likely that that person may have lost some fat and also replaced some of that weight with muscle. If that person has lost some weight on the scales and also seen a reduction in their waist circumference, then it's likely they've lost some fat mass, but are they also losing some muscle mass? So I'm going to post a little bit more information for you so that you can see those indicators a little bit more clearly. But we don't just use them on their own, we also use some biofeedback clues. So in the instance where somebody has lost some of their waist circumference and they've also lost weight on the scales, this is where we need to be really careful that they're not losing muscle mass, okay? So in this instance, we're looking at those biofeedback clues for hunger, energy and cravings, and making sure that all three of those are in check. If that individual reports back to say yes, their hunger is balanced, their cravings are balanced, and they've got enough energy to do their exercise and perform their daily activities, then it's likely that there's not a problem there and they're not losing muscle mass. If that person comes back to say, I'm really hungry all the time, I'm actually quite tired and fatigued, I'm not able to do my workouts to the way that I would normally be able to do them, and I'm craving some real sugary food, then that's a clear indicator that they're possibly losing their muscle mass and there's something that needs to be done to restore balance. Remember to monitor how your clothes fit and feel. Take before and after pictures as well, and monitor your strength and performance. So if you want to know a little bit more, then please get in touch. These are some of the methods that I teach clients so that they can implement them and not rely on somebody like me. So coaching is very much about empowering you to be able to do what you need to do to sustain a healthy life and promote hormonal balance, and also have the body that you want to have. That's it from me for today. Bye for now.